Today's workout is a 10-minute deep core and pelvic floor workout. It's perfect for anyone postpartum, including C-section mamas alike, no matter how many years postpartum you are. This workout will help you connect to your deep core and pelvic floor with exercises that are simple and effective for healing core dysfunction. Let's get started. Hey mamas, welcome to your 10-minute deep core and pelvic floor workout. We're gonna get started with some deep core diaphragmatic breathing and then move on to functional exercises that will help contribute to healing and optimizing your core function. So let's go ahead and get started. You can either be on your back or seated or in a quadruped position, whatever's comfortable. I'll show you here. So we're gonna take that full diaphragmatic breath, expanding through the rib cage and then contracting the diaphragm, contracting the pelvic floor, pulling that belly button in toward the spine. So we inhale, inflate the belly like a balloon, let that breath come all the way into the rib cage, all the way up into the diaphragm, and then exhale. It's like you're zipping up your core from bottom to the top, letting those ribs come down, upper abs engage. We're gonna keep going here. And we're doing a shorter interval with this breath work, but if you want a longer video with more breath work, I've got my 15-minute core and pelvic floor workout here. Obviously helps if you don't talk during it as well. All right, we've warmed up the core. We're gonna move over onto our back for our first exercise. So let's take one breath in, set that core, lift the knees over the hips. We're gonna drop one leg out to the front of the room, bring it back in. So we inhale, exhale, fire that pelvic floor and core as we bring the leg up and in. Now your arms can be by your side or out, whatever's comfortable. We want just a small arch in the lower back, pressing down toward the floor. Just the natural curve, neutral spine. It's not about how far down you can take the leg. It's about using control. It's about keeping those knees over the hips. If they're too far in, your core is gonna relax. You want it here, so you keep that tension in the abs here. All right, rest. We're gonna stay here on the back. This time, we're gonna keep the knees over the hips, take the arms to the ceiling for a dead bug. I'll show you a few variations here. So we want that neutral spine, just a slight curve, back pressing toward the mat. We're gonna take the front arm, or the front leg and the back arm and take them away from the body and then bring them back toward the midline. Let's switch sides. So front arm, back leg, extending out and away from the body. Now, this is the most advanced variation. If you need a little bit of a regression, keep the leg bent and tap the toe. If you need even more of a regression, keep the arms up, tap the toes, and stay here. That would be a reverse march. But if you can, take the leg away from the body. You can tap the heel on the ground, or you can go a little bit. You don't have to go all the way to the floor. The goal here is to keep that spine nice and neutral, move simultaneously with the arm and leg. So we're firing the upper lower abs, those cross slings. Really good for coordination for the brain too. All right, rest here. We are going to move to a reverse crunch with a leg extension. So we're gonna start with the feet down, hands by your sides or arms out wide, whatever you prefer here. Draw that belly button in and up. Set your core. We're gonna bring those knees up over the hips, and then we're gonna lift the legs straight up. And as we lift up, we're gonna lift that tailbone and then slowly lower to about 45 degrees. Let's do that again. We pull the knees in, 90 degrees, lift the tailbone, and then slowly lower. Regression, don't lift the tailbone. Don't go as low with the legs. Really making that core work on that tailbone, lift, and right here on those leg lowers, you want the legs together. You want to make sure that spine stays neutral, lower back pressing toward the floor. You're not feeling that core pooching out. You're keeping everything engaged here. All right, we're gonna move to a glute bridge with an abduction lift. So kind of like that first core exercise we did, we're gonna take the feet, press the heels down, and then take the knees out and in as we stay in that bridge position. So drive down through the heels. Again, not how wide you take the knees, but we want those heels to stay planted. The feet are gonna lift off the floor a little bit like the balls of the feet. Just make sure those heels stay planted as you move the knees in and out. It doesn't have to be a big movement, pronounced movement. You're gonna feel it in those side glutes. And movements where you abduct the legs, take them away, and then bring them back in are so good for the core and pelvic floor muscles. And we're really intentional about keeping that core brace even here. Belly button is pulled towards spine. We've got a neutral spine even as we're lifted off the floor. A lot of people say, well, why do we need to work glutes? Because the glutes are a part of the core and it all has to fire together for the core to function optimally. Okay, we're gonna do a glute bridge this time with a walkout. So drive those heels down into the ground. We're gonna stay up in that bridge, walk out, out, in. Let's repeat that, out, out, in. You're gonna switch the feet you walk out with if you remember to. And as you walk the feet out and in, you wanna be conservative with it so you're not going too far out and in. And that way you can keep those hips up. But if you feel like it's a little too easy, you can start to walk the feet out a little further. That's also gonna work more into the hamstrings the further out you go. But make sure as you walk out, you're not dropping your butt. Keep it off the ground. Make those glutes work for it. Rest. All right, we're gonna move over onto our forearm here. Hips, heels, elbow in line for a clam. We're gonna take those hips off the ground, open and close the knees, and you can stay up here as you open and close, or you can drop the hips between every rep, but you wanna stay lifted through here, never here. So lift that hip, stay up if you can, keeping the heels together, keeping that deep core and pelvic floor properly engaged. Pressing out of that forearm, staying really long. That underside of the waist here is working really hard. Great exercise to incorporate the hips and glutes. All right, other side. Line everything up. Lift, open and close. And again, not about how wide you can take the knees. We want to keep those heels together and stay lifted through that bottom waistline. Again, option to drop the hips if you would like to. Stay lifted through here. Keep the shoulder away from the ear. Ooh, that one's tough. All right, moving over onto our hands and knees for bear plank lift. So we're gonna take the hands under shoulders, knees underneath the hips, tuck your toes, deep breath in, exhale, lift the knees off the floor for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Set them down, inhale, exhale, brace and lift for 5. Hold that core brace, keep the knees just hovering barely above the ground. Brace and push into those hands. Make sure you're keeping the shoulders over the wrists, knees under the hips. You're not shifting back here. That's gonna take that pressure off. Again, just barely hovering above the ground. If you can't do 5 seconds, do 1 second. All about that alignment. This is gonna prep us for planks. If you haven't done it yet, I have that new return to planks workout. And that one will really help you get back to planks postpartum. Okay, now we're gonna do a bear crawl. So come to the end of the mat, we're gonna crawl forward and back, so staying in that same quadruped position. Lift the knees just above the ground like we just had them. We're gonna go 4 forward, 4 back, or however many you can get. So make sure you're moving the opposite hand, opposite foot. You want that knee low to the ground, hand under shoulder, wrist under shoulder rather. Really controlled here, and if you need to, you can put the knees down for a few. You're still gonna feel that core fire. Again, these movements are so important for firing that deep core because that's where everything stems from. If we want our core to function optimally, if we want to heal core dysfunction, if we want to establish good, healthy movement patterns for everyday life, if we want strong glutes, abs, we got to get it done. All right, reverse tabletop bridge. So you can take the fingers forward or fan them out, whatever's more comfortable. We're gonna lift the hips and extend one leg out and then tap. So you can start low, just lifting the hips off the floor. If you need to, you can even tap the heel. But if you can, lift higher and really extend the leg out. Drive out of the heel, squeeze the glute. Challenging for those arms too. Really focus on thrusting, tucking the hips under. Just lightly tapping at the bottom. And there we go, there's your 10-minute deep core and pelvic floor workout. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Again, if you're looking for more, I have my 15-minute deep core breath work and pelvic floor if you want more elaborate breathing techniques to help you fire your deep core, as well as my return to planks workout, which I mentioned. And if you're looking for more guidance on how to incorporate these workouts into a workout schedule that progressively builds to help you heal your core and regain function postpartum, I've got my YouTube guides new on my website. They're linked in the description. I think you guys will really like them. They're on my website now. So go check them out and let me know what you think of this video, what you'd like to see next on my channel. I'll see you back here for our next workout together.